get the... Come here, mouse. Mouse! There we go. All right. Playing music in 3, 2, 1.
You're listening to the Yin and Yang Show, a marketing and sales conversation providing strategic and tactical advice about inbound sales and marketing. And now, here are your hosts, Lindsay Kelly and Brian Signorelli.
Hello, and welcome back. I am Lindsay Kelly. I am the marketing arm of the Yin and Yang Show, joined as always by my friend Brian Sig.
Hey, Lindsay. How you doing?
I am well. How are you, Brian Sig?
I am just fine this beautiful morning.
Fabulous. How's
Hey.
how's HubSpot Landia?
Oh, it's it's funny, maybe immediately think of Portlandia, I guess, it just kind of rhymes. I was watching, I don't know, previews for that show or something last night. HubSpot is wonderful, I guess we just wrapped up, I guess if you're listening to this now, we just wrapped up the year, so we're in early 2017. Things are good. And I was actually just thinking how much I love I guess it's self-serving, but this is a completely separate note, but how much I love the intro music. Just something about it. Like, it actually sounds like it's like, this is a real radio show. I feel like it. The headset on, and you've got the special mic to
Hot
make
mic.
it sound exact. I love that. I got to get one of those just to compete with you, because obviously in sales, that's what we do, is compete.
We compete.
But yeah, how are things in your world? How are things in the dealer copier world?
They're good. I mean, it's exciting because end of the year, everybody had money to spend, and now we're not sure who's starting and when they're starting and how many more people we need to hire. And it's like, woo, that's
Exciting.
I said to my sales guy, slow down. Please, slow down.
The last thing a salesperson is going to do. We don't exactly do well with what do they call it? Delayed gratification. It's not part of our DNA.
Yeah. No. And it was funny because the one morning I was yelling at him. I'm like, you can't start making you can't put together the recommendation. Wait a minute, I need to see the recommendation. I need to, because we do this so often now. It's like he's got such a good grasp on what inbound really is and what is needed that He's very comfortable. And so like he put together, and he wasn't even thinking about it. He's like, oh, I know what Lindsay's going to do. She's going to do this, and I'm like, well, I still want to look at it. So, and if you know me, I changed it all up anyway. But in the same day, he closed another retainer deal. And so, but it was kind of like a wah, because I was already upset with him.
Lindsay, you just gotta let go and let sales,
Let go and let sales. Keep calm and sell on.
Yeah. There was a signature that I saw recently that I love. I wish I had thought of this. And I'm like, I'm a little bit of a Star Wars fan. I'm not like, I'm not going to the conventions or dressing up as, Yoda or whatever. But I got the green shirt on this morning. It's the signature in the email is may the sales be with you. And I'm like, that's just amazing. Like, I wish that I had come up with that, because it's perfect.
That's
from
awesome.
This guy. His name's Joel. He works we should get him on the show and do an interview sometime with him. He works for a company called Sales Nerd.
Cool.
I also like. I think it's Joel at Sales Nerd. Might be another group. Anyway, I'll figure it out. But bottom line is someone. I think it's Joel. Has that signature. May the sales be with you. When I saw the first time, like, that's just so amazing.
That's awesome. I love it. I love Star Wars. Rogue One. Awesome.
Where are we today?
Where are we today? So last week, if you were listening, and I'm going to tell you right now, stop the recording and go back and listen to last week if you missed it, because we're going through the inbound marketing methodology. And next week we're going to start into sales, and I think that one's going to take at least 2 different podcasts to go through as well. But the inbound sales methodology is we're basically talking about what is inbound sales, and it's attracting folks to you, giving them helpful information. There are 4 stages to it. There's attract, convert, close, and delight. And so last
inbound
week,
sales or marketing.
What?
Or inbound sales or marketing.
Oh, this is inbound marketing. Inbound sales. You have 4 different ones. You have 4 different, and I forget them.
It's research, identify, connect, explore, advise.
Yes, identify, connect, explore, and advise. And I remember that because I'm actually taking the trainings. I have a client who they've. Did I tell you this? Okay, so I'm digressing totally, but I have a client, and they believe in this so much that they told their entire sales department, "You guys have to get inbound certified." And so almost all of them are now inbound certified.
Inbound marketing or sales certified or
Sales,
both?
inbound sales certified.
Sales. Ooh, that's
Yes.
good. I
So
like that.
it was very exciting. And a lot of them have taken, you can see on the back end of HubSpot where they are in the process. And so they've all at least started, and most of them have gotten the certification. And I am most proud of the fact that the second person to get the certification was the owner of the company.
Oh, I like that. I like that. You gotta, leaders act. They don't, just, crack the whip. There's some great graphic that I've seen before, which is like the difference between a leader and a manager, something like that. And the manager is the one, like, it's kind of like it's a silhouette image, back in like Egyptian times where the pharaohs, the manager version is the pharaohs being carried by the slaves. Right. But in the leader version, the leader is actually out in front of all the, I don't know, call them slaves or team members, whatever it is. Basically the point is, the leader is out in front, actually pulling the weight with his or her people. So.
No, that's awesome.
I think that's awesome that the owner's doing that.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. And so many folks there who aren't in full sales roles have gotten this certification. It's great. It's awesome. But anyway, I digress. Back to what we're working on today. So today we're going to be talking about, we went through attract and convert. So it's when we've got strangers, we're attracting them in, then they become visitors in the convert stage because they're visiting, they're looking around, they're filling out forms. And then once they fill out a form, they become a lead. And then they move into the close phase. Okay, so what is the stat now? It's so, there are so many different stats out there. Basically,
which one do you want? I've got tons of them.
I know, right? So like 57% of the buying journey is complete before a prospect ever talks to a sales rep, whatever the number is now.
All right. So actually on that note, okay, so here's the stat. 62%. I just made that up. 60, but I'm gonna go with it. 62%. If you say, you know what I learned recently is that you say something confident enough, people will believe you, and then it becomes fact. This is how rumor.
But the 57 is Harvard Business Review. I mean, that's a good name to have behind a stat.
But I think that was like 2012, and I think Corporate
was.
Executive Board was the one that came out with the 60-something%, and then on top of that, I think Forrester, or it might have been Corporate Executive Board doing new research by 2020, which is only 3 years away.
Oh my gosh.
2020. Okay, by 2020, 80% of that buying process will be done without a sales rep. 80%.
That's crazy. Now, that's not to say sales reps are going away. It's just that the roles of sales and marketing are really becoming more and more entwined. Yes, and marketing needs to better understand how sales sells, what their process is, so that they can take that knowledge and infuse it with their knowledge of how buyers are buying, get the right information out there for the sales folks so that they're teeing up. It's kind of like, we're turning into like pre-sales.
We're sales engineers, basically.
Sales engineers. So in the close phase, what we're looking at is, they've come to the site, they filled out a form, because they found their little call to action, their next step, and then they fall into what we call a workflow. And some of our workflows are absolutely insane. I'm sure you've seen way more insane ones than I have, but there's a tool inside of HubSpot that almost looks like a Visio chart. And you can see, okay, the starting condition is they downloaded this ebook. After they download this ebook, wait 3 days, then send them this email that has this other wonderful piece of information. If they download that, then send them this. If they don't do that, then send them this. So then that way it's like, based upon their behavior, we've got this workflow in the back end that is, it's wicked. It's this smart thing. And the craziest thing is that I've heard rumors that process is almost going to be completely taken over by some kind of crazy artificial intelligence, because you won't need people like me anymore to go, okay, so if this happens, then we need to do this and then this. No, there's going to be a computer that figures that out better than me. But anyway, right now you only have me. Okay. So.
And we love you. We do. We love you.
Well, you have me, and what I do is I spew all of this information out into an electronic document, and then I have a HubSpot goddess who makes sense of it and understands it all, and thank God, because she fills in the gaps in my conversations that I have in my head. So, and she makes these elaborate and beautiful workflows, because I'll go in and look at it, and I'll be like, wait, explain these additional little 9 criteria that you put in. She's like, well, you didn't take into account that if they've come into this list before and then they filled this out, you really don't want to send them this because, and I'm like, okay, I love you. Just do your thing.
It's the workflow pixie.
She is. I mean, I love it. That's the beauty of working virtually. I'm not like confined to one area. Like she eventually is going to need to move to England because she's with a PhD doctorate guy. Oh. And so his studies will take him to Europe. And I'm like, I don't care where you are. As long as you get your work done and keep sprinkling pixie dust on the workflows, I'm good. And I got a couple of years before I got to worry about that. But these workflows, what they're designed to do is they're designed to walk your prospect through a sales funnel and a decision-making process that's comfortable for them. And it primes them for when they finally do convert over into, yes, I'm raising my hand. I want to see, the Canon blah, 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 MFP / copier / copy machine / whatever somebody in different regions call it. I want to see this thing in action. I want to bring in my thumb drive, get some of my own documents. I want to come in for a demo. And that's like the golden moment for all of the folks in the copier world. If they come into the demo room, they're impressed. And it really is. These guys have these demo rooms and they're able to show the capabilities of these machines in a way that's kind of hard to translate online. So we just want to get them in the door. That's our job. So between using the workflows and the emails, we're able to do all of this. Oh, and then we get to the bottom of the workflow. And you ready for this? We can trigger a new deal to be created in the CRM.
No.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Wait,
I love deals.
Do you know what that translates to? Sales reps don't have to enter data into the CRM.
I tell you, as a sales manager, that's one of my biggest, that was one of my biggest gripes as a sales manager, just getting reps to use CRM.
Yeah. And that's, it's one of the beautiful things about this new inbound sales and methodology process is that sales reps are phenomenal at selling their products. And there are some out there that I've seen work and I'm just like, oh my God, I would want to buy from you. And I already have like 5 of these because I work for your company.
Oh, you're making us salespeople blush, Lindsay. Jeez.
I know, right? Well, don't get me wrong. There are others who I saw struggle and it's, but the ones who are like, they're seasoned, they've been trained. It's quite a different world today than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago. But they shine in front of the customer. They shine in helping build the solution that's right for these folks. Mm-hmm. They don't shine at sitting in front of their computer, entering in the name, spelling it wrong, putting the wrong email address, and forgetting to add the company name. Like, there's a lot of crap that they have to put into the CRM. And I think the average is like an hour and a half to 2 hours a day they have to do that.
Yeah, the last stat I saw is that sales reps spend less than 30% of their time actually selling. And the rest of it's spent, it was just insane. Like, could you imagine that as a CEO thinking like, I'm paying these people, the average sales rep between commission and base, like it's easily into the 6 figures, if not multiple 6 figures. To think that 70% of that investment is going to places other than actually selling is insane. Right. And so the other 70% of the time is spent on things like admin, on researching leads, on, finding leads.
And cold calling.
I mean, it's basically just entering data into CRM or like writing up emails or reports or whatever. I mean, it's nuts. I mean, any CEO out there, get your salespeople selling more. That's what you're paying them to do.
And there's an industry guy that I used to be able to, when I worked for a dealership, in the Baltimore market, I was blessed enough to be able to go to see this guy. He's a consultant and he's phenomenal. And his name is Mike Reardon. And I used to always remember him saying, like, your sales reps need to be an A time. This is their A time, signing on the dotted line, and they don't get enough of it. Like, they don't have, like, that chunk of time is too small because there are so many other things that they're bogged down with. And he was awesome. He was a chair moment and he had this little comb in his pocket. He would mess his hair up because he'd get so passionate and talk about stuff and then he'd comb it back over. Oh, it was awesome. I love that guy. But yeah, that's their A time. Like, you guys are happiest when somebody is signing on the dotted line. However, these days it's somebody's clicking a button with an approved PDF Adobe signature and sending it back electronically.
That's true.
Yeah. But and so that's the close phase. You've got, your workflows are happening, emails are going around, and then information's getting into the CRM. And so what happens then is they become customers. And I used to work for a dealership, and the owner of the dealership was, oh my goodness, he was almost 80 when I left, and he was still there every day, he and his wife. And he was so passionate about, it starts at the sale. Like when we close, that's not the end of what we do. That's the beginning. And that's so true. And while what he had, and he was a fabulous sales guy. I mean, obviously, like this stuff, I don't even think he knows exists, because he's probably 84 or 5 now, and he's still in the office every day. But from what I understand, but it's basically all the same principles and premise is there. It's just changed platform. It's all the same stuff. You still need to delight your customers. You still need to make them happy. You still need to remind them how special they are. And that's what I love about the delight phase. So from the world of customer into promoter is the delight stage. And some of those things can include, sending out a survey. Net Promoter Score is huge, I'm sure, in many industries, but very big in ours. And a lot of the folks that we work with have very high Net Promoter Scores, which basically is saying, yeah, we love you guys, you're awesome. So make sure you're keeping your finger on the pulse of that so that they're happy. And then setting up things like smart content, which you can do through HubSpot. If your website is hosted on the HubSpot platform, you have complete control over the messaging and the information that pops up for a certain prospect. So let's say, as an example, I'm Administrator Amy, and I have to enter in the meter reads every month. If I hit the page that says, complete your meter read here, I can have a greeting that says, hi Amy, welcome back. I mean, it's a little creepy, but I can say, hi Amy, welcome back, or I can say something more about the company. That's usually a little less creepy. So, hope that ABC company is enjoying their new copier. If you have any questions, you can always click here to ask us. Whereas somebody else arriving is going to see a different message. Or somebody who's never been to the site before, it'll be like, this is our exciting customer portal for our customers. We love to make sure they have all their information. It's smart content. It's smart because it knows who's there. You can even have it smart by country, but we don't have to worry about that because all of our guys are geographically located. But you can have different languages. Like, how cool is that? So
I think it's so important. I mean, I think that if someone, I think that the example you gave about a customer coming back versus an unknown visitor coming to your website, for example, coming back. I mean, this is paramount, I think. And the example I always use, the software world at least, is why in God's name would I ever show why would I ever show a customer when they come back to the site a call to action that says like request a demo? It just shows I don't know you don't know what you're doing, right? Customers are coming back to the site looking for certain things. Prospects are on the site looking for certain things, right? So if you're not marketing in different ways, right? Even people in different geographies, different title types, different roles, different industries, like there's now an ability to, I love Amazon, so I guess I'll plug Amazon on this show, but there's an ability to Amazonify your website, right?
It's a new verb.
I just kind of made it up, I guess, but here we are, so I'm going to run with it. It's to Amazonify your website and really to actually take the intelligence, take that knowledge of all the different things, all the different visitors, all the actions of your website, and to personalize that experience, right? So think about creating those moments of some people might laugh at this, but I don't think it's funny. Keeping your eyes wide open for those moments of delight at every single stage of the funnel, and figuring out ways that when a customer comes back, how much better is it going to be to say, hey, click here to talk to your account manager for new updates on XYZ, or click here to see new product updates, or click here to, register for an upcoming free training session on XYZ, whatever it is. It's kind of like little things like I may not have known about that otherwise. The reality is that customers have just absolutely become part of your marketing funnel. You cannot win in today's business environment without having your customers as some of your biggest advocates and promoters. And so if you're not doing this already and you're not thinking about how do I turn my customers into promoters in terms of, or back to the inbound marketing methodology, how do I delight my customers? It's time that you start working with Lindsay more closely.
You're plugging Prospect Builder.
Exactly. I know. It's time to start working with Lindsay, or start doing it or thinking about it, because the businesses that don't do this are just going to be, they're going to become archaic. They're going to be left in the dust.
Well, and I really love, and I'm going to be really quick about this because I know we have to go here in just a couple minutes, but one of the things that we're doing at Prospect Builder right now is working with another company that is very well known in our industry that most folks work with, called CEO Juice. And they are the data guys. I mean, geez, these guys are the data guys. Pretty much they have a way to tie their ERP system with all of the data about customers and what products they have and all of this stuff. And they have an API that can tie into HubSpot now. So how powerful would it be if and all they do is move the data? And they're, we're happy to always promote them, and they're always happy to say, and you need content and somebody to run HubSpot, call HubSpot, call Prospect Builder. You can call HubSpot, but they might be like,
we'll send you right back to Prospect Builder.
Right,
exactly.
Pretty much.
All the wrong place.
And so if you are the office manager at a small law firm, and you're the one that goes in and enters this information into your data every day, and we know that you have the Canon 123, I can't remember all their names, the Canon 123 color image runner thing. Canon Image Runner, let's just go with that. I know that well. They all have numbers though. So the Canon Image Runner. And they know the model and make that you have. And we know that there's this really cool new update to it, a new add-on or something that could really benefit the legal administrator that's on the website. And there's a call to action that says, click here to see the new add-on feature for faster, more secure scanning of the documents for your legal customers. That's really speaking right to her. But if somebody else shows up on that page, it could be for your manufacturing customers, or for your healthcare, for HIPAA compliance, for all of these different things. And that's how powerful this kind of stuff can get. And that makes somebody so happy. They feel like the one-to-one marketing thing is true. People want to feel like they're being marketed to directly, and it's achievable. So that's what we had for today. We went through Attract and Convert in last week. This week we went through Close and Delight. And again, all of this stuff we use HubSpot for, because it's an all-in-one place for us to make sure that we've got all of our T's crossed and I's dotted, and we don't have to jump into 20 different systems, which is a pain.
What about the lowercase j's?
The lowercase j's need to be dotted as well, please.
Wonderful.
Fabulous.
Anybody who doesn't know, that's a Wayne's World reference.
Oh, is it? It's been so long since I saw that. I have to go back and watch.
Yeah, it's like, I remember the guy that has like the albino eye, and he's like, "Oh, the last thing we got to do is make sure that we cross our T's and dot our lowercase j's."
That's awesome. Well, folks, keep dotting your lowercase j's. Make sure that you follow us on Twitter. I'm at LV Kelly with an EY. And say you are
at Inbound Seller.
You've been listening to the Yin and Yang Show, a marketing and sales conversation with Lindsay Kelly and Brian Signorelli. Join us online at yinandyang.fm. That's www.yinandyang.fm.